So student success is a term we hear a lot of, but obviously it can mean different things to different people. I'd really love to hear from each of your unique vantage points. How do you personally define what true student success looks like? And then kind of building on that definition, what are the core priorities your institution is really championing, obviously beyond the Prepare for Illinois Future program to help your students reach that success? Nashawn, as the Dean of Student Success at Chicago State, I'm sure this is something that you think about all day, every day. So do you want to kick us off?
Sure. So at Chicago State, we define student success holistically. I believe institutions have been doing the work of student success for years, right? But we're finally putting it under a hub. And so understanding that it's complete wraparound support for our students. And yes, it's persistence and retention and graduation rates, but it's also well-being for us, a sense of belonging for our students. It's making sure that they have access to equitable opportunities and resources, but then also being workforce ready. And so our priorities are very rooted in equity and impact. For example, through our first year initiative, it's an intensive first year success program called Rise Academy. We provide a full first year scholarship for students. They receive laptops, internet access, year round devising. It's really been a game changer for our students. And it's really helped them combat some of those systemic barriers that they're up against trying to graduate. Specifically in Illinois, Black student enrollment has declined in Illinois at least 37% between 2013 and now. So at Chicago State, we're very determined to try to reverse that trend. And so we're creating environments and strategies that kind of help our students navigate that, but really try to support our most underrepresented students as best as we can.
That's amazing. I love the idea of a 360 view, like really diving into beyond, like you said, graduation and persistence. That's an incredible definition. David, will you want to go next?
Sure. I mean, I will pick up off of what Dr. Mosley said, and we offer all of those services as well. But I think we also drive towards, what specifically can we do to get student engagement and an understanding of who they are, their identity, their power, the power of their voice. Many students, come and they can go through our academic programs and reach their credentials, but they still have some deficits in going into new venues they've never been into before. I'm going to a corporate environment. How do I operate in that environment? How does my voice count? What do we need to do to ensure that? And it's really around many of the programs that we have. Mentoring has really been a tremendous program that has helped us to reverse trends, and African American males actually led our enrollment for the last year because of mentoring, because they finally felt like we saw them and that we understood where they were coming from, their perspective, that people really were defining them by their actions and behaviors and attitudes, right? And I'm talking about the attitudes to the African American males. And so we stepped in to say, hey, let's define who you really are. And part of our mentoring programs, we started a study abroad program and took them back to the continent of Africa. But we also did use a service to look at their DNA and married the activities in the continent with the tribes they came from. And it was amazing. Then they come back, they realized that I know who I am. I know the power that resides in me, and I can do anything.
That's incredible. That is really, uh, wow. That's amazing. I mean, the power of that, the role modeling that you're talking about, and that kind of activity for student. Wow, that's just, thanks for sharing that. That's amazing. Jorge, anything to add?
Uh, First of all, I would like to just echo what President Sanders and Dr. Mosley were saying, because I have very similar notes to what you said already about what student success is. And for us, it's very important to remember that uh, we need to meet the needs of the student where they are, not where we want
Okay.
them to be before they start, or
Yeah.
this image that we have. You did high school, now you're gonna go to college, you're gonna be here for 4 years, and you're gonna finish. You will have the resources to finish. You will have the ability to get a job almost on your own. All the things that we took for granted 20 years ago, that doesn't exist anymore. So make sure that we understand each student, and we are small enough that we can give a very personalized service to students. We have now a person at the provost level that is going to be working on student success on the for most of the position. Uh, so we are trying to figure out how to configure university to really have the student outcomes that we want and the student want. It's not what we want, it's really what the student needs. If the student needs more than 4 years to graduate, that's fine. We have students that, as was mentioned before, they work full time, they have kids at school, uh, they are taking classes online, doing everything on the weekends. Uh, we cannot expect the same type of services for one student compared to the other, or someone that is here full time as a student who is 19, 20 years old. To each one, student success means different things, and we have to offer different ways to retain them, ways to help them get jobs.